Hello everyone! In this video we're going to go over the Book A, Unit 14 Vocabulary Words, numbers 1 through 20. Let's get started! Our first word is below. Below is an adverb and it's talking about in or to a lower place, or the same as beneath. For example, they were on the deck of the ship, but then they went below when it began to rain. If you think about a ship, the very top of the ship is called the deck. But if it starts to rain, then you need to go below. You need to go to this part of the ship so that the rain does not get you wet. In that case, you can use this word below. Or I can also say the girl is hiding below the table. Or the mommy cat is on the chair, but the baby cat is below the chair. And of course, the opposite of below, or the antonym, is above. Our next word is blind. Blind is an adjective and it means not able to see. For example, a dog led the blind man across the street. Someone who is blind, they were either born without being able to see, or they had some accident that hurt their eyes, so now they can't see anymore. People who are blind, they usually have an animal that helps guide them to where they need to go because they can't see, or they have some sort of walking cane that helps them feel what could be in front of them. And people who are blind often also wear glasses, especially in bright places, because even though they can't see, sometimes bright light can make their eyes hurt. Our next word is creamy. Creamy is an adjective, and creamy means having the taste, color, or texture of cream. And this is what cream is. So something that is creamy either looks like this or feels like this. And we can use creamy to describe many things. Most of the time we use creamy to describe food. I can say this pasta is very creamy. That means it feels or it tastes very smooth and soft like cream. Or I can say this soup is creamy. So it feels very smooth and very soft when you're eating it. But we can also use creamy to describe things like makeup. I can say this lipstick is creamy. So maybe it feels, the texture means feel. It feels very smooth when you're putting it on your lips. We can also describe someone's skin as creamy. I can say Joan has a creamy complexion. Complexion means the color of your skin or the look of your skin. So someone who has a creamy complexion has very light or smooth and soft skin. Our next word is crispy. And similar to creamy, we use crispy as an adjective to describe something. Crispy means brittle and easily broken or crumbled, something that is crisp. So something crispy can be easily broken. If you think about this food, this bacon here, it's cooked for a long time, so it's crispy. And you can easily break little pieces of it or little crumbs. And also when you bite it, it makes like a crunch sound. So we can use crispy to describe foods, usually foods that are fried, like chicken. I can say the chicken was very crispy. Or we can use it to describe potato chips or french fries. I can say the french fries were crispy, or I like crispy french fries. Our next word is crop. Crop is a noun, and crops are plants grown on a farm. For example, corn is an important crop. So any plant that's grown on a farm, we can call that a crop. So I can say the farm had many crops, or the pepper crops were growing very well. So we can have cucumbers be called a crop. I can say the crop of cucumbers grew early this year. Or the crop of tomatoes was not ready yet. Or I can simply say the farmer grows many crops on his farm. Our next word is cupboard. And please be careful with cupboard because it does have the word cup here, but we don't say cupboard. Instead, this P almost has no sound, so it sounds cupboard, cupboard. The cupboard is a noun and it is a piece of furniture with shelves to store food, dishes, or other things. This is what a cupboard looks like. Here are the shelves and you can store anything on here, maybe food or dishes or spoons and forks. A cupboard is usually found in the kitchen. And let's look at the example. The plates and bowls go in this cupboard and glasses go in the other. So cupboards are just used for storing things in a home. Do you have any cupboards in your house? Our next word is dairy. Dairy is an adjective and it means made from milk or having to do with milk products. Milk, butter, cheese, and yogurt are dairy products. Let's look at the example. I can't eat dairy foods because it hurts my stomach. So all of these foods here are dairy foods. They have some milk in them. So cheese has milk in it and yogurt as well. Ice cream is a dairy product. And some people, if they eat dairy, their stomachs hurt. So they can't eat dairy foods. Do you like dairy foods or does your stomach also hurt when you eat something with dairy inside of it? Our next word is giggle. Giggle is a verb and it means to laugh in a silly or nervous way. For example, the children giggled when the teacher's marker flew out of her hand. And giggle is a little bit different from laughing because, as you can see, when people giggle, they usually cover their mouth and it's usually a very quiet sound. A giggle can sound like like this kind of quiet laughing sound. Is there anything that's ever made you giggle? Our next word is itchy. Itchy is an adjective and it is a feeling on the skin that makes you want to scratch. For example, the spot where the mosquito bit me is so itchy. Or, this wool sweater is very warm but it's too itchy for me to wear. Whenever you have a feeling on your skin that makes you want to scratch, then you can say you feel itchy. You can say my neck is itchy or my arm is itchy. Or, like this bear has an itchy back. So when animals like bears feel itchy, how do you think they scratch themselves? Many of them will use a tree, like this smart bear here, to scratch his itchy back. Our next word is lonely. Lonely is an adjective and it means without company or alone. If you feel lonely, call a friend. When someone feels lonely, it's usually not a very good feeling. They often feel sad because they don't have anyone to play with them or anyone to talk to. So if you ever see someone who is lonely, then it's very kind if you ask them to play together or if you go and talk to that person. So again, when you feel lonely, you feel very alone, like there's no one with you. And it's not a good feeling. It's a bad or sad feeling. Our next word is mane. Mane is a noun and the mane is the long hair on the back and sides of the neck of horses, lions, and other animals. For example, the horse had a beautiful long white mane. So when you're talking about the hair of animals like lions or horses, I don't say the hair of the horse. Instead, I say the mane of the horse. So the horse has a beautiful long white mane. Or the lion has a beautiful mane. Our next word is musician. Musician is a noun and a musician is a person who has skill at playing, singing, or writing music. For example, Many of these musicians play 2 or 3 different instruments. So a musician can be anyone who can play or sing or even write music. So someone who plays a guitar is a musician, someone who sings songs can be a musician, someone who makes music on their computer, that can also be a musician. So do you know anyone who is a musician, or do you want to be a musician when you grow up? And remember, musician is a job. It is these people's job to play music, so they are musicians. Our next word is pocket. Pocket is a noun, and a pocket is a small piece of material that is open at the top and sewn onto clothing for holding things. For example, I keep my phone in my pocket. Of course, we know a pocket is closed here on the bottom and it's open on the top. That way it can hold things in your clothing. Of course, pockets can be in many different kinds of clothing. Even shirts can have a pocket sometimes. Some people keep their phones in their pockets. Some people keep their money in their pocket. What's something that you keep in your pocket? Our next word is rectangular. Rectangular is an adjective, so we can use it to describe the shape of something. For example, he put a rectangular box on the table. There's many things that have a rectangular shape. Phones these days have a rectangular shape. They are shaped like a rectangle. Ooh, sorry, my rectangle does not look very good in this drawing. TVs also have a rectangular shape. And trucks have a rectangular shape. Even things like soap can have a rectangular shape. Can you think of any other things that have a rectangular shape? Our next word is rinse. Rinse is a verb and it means to wash off with water. For example, be sure to rinse the soap off of the dishes when you want to wash them. When you rinse something, you are just putting water on top of it to get something off. Maybe there's soap on your hands, so you rinse your hand with the water. Or you should always rinse your vegetables and fruit because sometimes they can have dirt or even little bugs on them from the ground. So you need to rinse your vegetables well with water before you eat them. Our next word is rooster. Rooster is a noun, and a rooster is an adult male chicken. So it is the boy chicken. And the example says, the rooster sings every day at sunrise. So we know the word hen from our phonics classes. This is a hen. The hen is the female chicken that lays the eggs, and the rooster is the male chicken. Roosters are bigger than hens, and this thing on their face too, they both have it, but the roosters is bigger and more red than the hens. Their feathers are also different. Roosters tend to have longer feathers, especially on their tails. And roosters also have these spikes behind their legs, but hens do not have those. So just remember, a rooster is the male chicken and the hen is the female chicken. Our next word is sailor. Sailor is a noun, and the sailor is a member of the Navy who works on a ship. So many countries have something called a navy, and they are people who work on a ship, and their job is to make sure that the waters around their country are safe. So all of these people that work on these boats, we call them sailors. And a long time ago, we used the word sailors not only for the Navy, but for all of the people who worked on boats. They were called sailors. And do you know what this tall building here with the light on top of it is called? This is called a lighthouse. And lighthouses warned sailors that their boats were too close to rocks or to land like this. Let's look at the example sentence. The sailors were away at sea for a long time. Our next word is sweat. Sweat is a noun, and sweat is the liquid that comes out from the skin when you're too hot or nervous. For example, she was covered with sweat after running. Is what sweat looks like on your skin. It's like little drops of water. And of course, you sweat when you are hot, but you can also sweat when you are scared or nervous about something. That can make you sweat. And of course, the sun makes people sweat. Our next word is sword. Sword is a noun, and a sword is a weapon that has a long pointed blade. For example, the knight drew his sword to frighten off his attackers. This is what swords look like. They look like very long knives, and swords are weapons. A long time ago, before people had new kinds of weapons, they used swords to protect themselves when they are fighting. So they hold their swords like this to protect themselves. And our last word is torch. Torch is a noun, and torch is a stick or rod with a burning material on one end that is lit and carried for light. For example, before electricity, people carried a torch at night to be able to see. This is what a torch looks like. Here is the long stick, and then at the end, there is something on fire. So it's similar to a flashlight, and actually in some countries like the UK, instead of saying the word flashlight, they will say torch to talk about a flashlight. So before people had light in their homes, they used torches to help light their homes at nighttime. Or if they went out into the street at night, they carried a torch with them to help them see. And that's all for this video. We went over the Book A, Unit 14 Vocabulary Words, numbers 1 through 20. Thank you so much for listening, and see you next time.